Hi folks, this is something I've never done before, but I'm giving it a try as everybody else seems to be doing. I'm just going to give you a few thoughts on the readings that are in our worship for this week. And the titles of them in my Bible are Jesus Raises Lazarus to Life and The Valley of the Dry Bones. And I thought that both of them have images or metaphors of life from death. In these times when we're fearful, and it does in some respects feel like that life that we know it is actually dead, we can draw some comfort from both of the readings. Part of me wanted to run away from the gory details of the Lazarus story and that surreal picture of the Valley of the Bones, because that could depress us even more. But you know what? I actually came to the conclusion that it speaks of hope in our current situation, or that is what I've been reflecting on. I want to concentrate on the final paragraph of the Lazarus story, in particular the phrase, "They took away the stone." The stone was an entrance to the tomb. And I heard today that large stones are being placed at the entrance to car parks to prevent people from entering. So, in some respects, it does feel that as a society, stones are being put across many entrances of the places that we love to go, as we're in this lockdown. We must hold on to the fact that the stones eventually will be taken away, and there will be opportunity for new life to come out of the tomb. There are many stories of fear and darkness, death and decay. And I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling down to the next bit. There are many stories of fear, darkness, death and decay. But Jesus is a part of the story that promises new life and light from darkness, from that time when the stone was rolled away. Not only from Lazarus' tomb, but from his tomb. Now, think about stones. Stones can be stepping stones, the potential of a new beginning. Where are the stories in our community that can be stepping stones? There's certainly been much use of social media and online church. Could these be stepping stones for those who have not heard God's call in their lives, or indeed who have forgotten? We maybe need to spend some time identifying what these stones might be and where they might lead. It is certain that God will help us identify them as a way through the chaos and storm. There were, in John's account, many witnesses to the stone being rolled away. What a responsibility and a challenge we as church are presented with as we prepare for the stones and barriers to be rolled away. Could the church in this wilderness experience be being prepared for such a time as this? I know the questions will be asked. Where is God in this? And one thing is certain. We are witnesses to God's grace, peace, strength, and fortitude. It seems to me that the story of Lazarus unfolded. Jesus was in conversation, again this time with Martha, who was grieving. How many conversations can we have with those who grieve or are isolated and fearful? This may be, or should be, or even must be one of our priorities, to reassure as Jesus did when he reminded Martha of what faith is all about. Jesus said, "Did I not tell you?" In other words, were you listening? I am with you. Jesus told us, I will be with you always. And in these times we have to stand on that promise and believe it with a passion. Jesus cried out to God in prayer. And to Lazarus he said, come out. The church can be that vehicle that calls people to come out. Not step out onto the streets, for that would be madness. But we can call people to step out of the doom and the gloom and fear and step out to see the beauty in things that they've maybe never found solace in before. We can cry out in prayer for the victims. We can cry out in gratitude for all those risking everything to do their jobs. We can cry out to God in prayer. Jesus also said that Lazarus was to be unbound and let go. Is this reminding us that people will come out of this with changed lives? Maybe lives that signal an end to something that's happened before, to loneliness, to fear, to past unfulfilled lives, to pain. Who knows, you can add much to that list. But whatever we do, we must cry out as the stones of the Temple of Jerusalem did for this to be reality. May we act upon this belief that the tragedy of the moment will lead to triumph and that God can use the opportunity to bring new life. We can use the opportunities to bring new life, to see things in different ways, and to understand God's bigger, wider purpose for each one of us. There are already many signs as communities are pulling together. Our Old Testament reading from Ezekiel had us standing in a valley of dry bones. Not a very pleasant experience. Surreal, ethereal. It was otherworldly. And this does seem to be where we are standing at the moment. In the words of the text, we're given another promise, a significant promise. And that promise is that God will cause breath to enter us and we will live. It actually says, I will cause breath to enter you and you will live. I think we need to hear those words, for they're prophetic words, and it's no coincidence that they are the chosen words for the lectionary for this week. This is the hope that we all need, the opportunity to revive the church, the whole house of Israel, who will once again know and to trust God, and through all of this current crisis, be reawakened to new faith and life. I'll now say farewell. See you soon. Be safe, stay safe, and know and remember that you are loved and thought about, and that there's always somebody there to call.